So good morning, everyone. Good morning, Ma'am Nika. So I am going to present now the first part of our topic, which is work, no? Social cognition in the workplace, no? The future of research on meaning of work by Maher et al. So, okay, no? So the desire to find meaning in life is a fundamental human motivation. So for many for many, their jobs and occupations serve as an enduring source of such meaning. So, research reveals that deriving meaning from one's work is linked to better performance, no? Job satisfaction, and overall well-being. So, this section no, introduce the emerging field of research on the meaning of work and its importance in organizational psychology. So, we all know kasi in human existence no there is a driving force no that exists no in our that exists no in our innate desire that propels us to move forward no shaping our actions and defining our very purpose. So this force is none other than our profound yearning to perceive life as meaning. So, at the heart of this relentless pursuit lies a cornerstone of human endeavor, which is work. Okay, let us stress this one. Now, this is by Emmons, 2003. Now, for many people, job and occupation are the enduring source of such meaning. So, it highlights how people perceive that their work isn't just a way to pay bills, a way to buy our needs, no. It is a source of deep satisfaction and fulfillment. So work, by far, is beyond being a mere means to an end. So it embodies the essence of our quest of meaning. So work, help us recognize the importance of meaningful occupation isn't just about acknowledging their significance in our life. No, it is about understanding the fundamental aspect of human happiness and fulfillment. Okay, now let's move to the sense of meaning. So we have here epistemic, theological, and the overall sense of meaning. So, okay, epistemic. So it refers to the extent to which our experiences are characterized by reliable connection and coherence. So the sense, it is the sense that life makes sense. Okay, it is an essential component of how our cultural worldviews provides meaning. So let us consider the analogy of a puzzle for an example. So each piece represents a different experience. No, each piece represent a fragment of knowledge. So now, this epistemic meaning will serve as the glue that hold these pieces together, allowing us to see the bigger picture. No, it allows us to understand how this piece fits into a whole. So without this sense of coherence, the puzzle will remain incomplete. And no, we fail to, or we struggle to see the beauty and significance of the final image. So, ibig sabihin, this epistemic meaning plays a very crucial role in fostering social cohesion and understanding. So, kasi when individuals share a common understanding of the world based on the reliable connection and coherent experiences, it promotes empathy. It promotes cooperation as well as mutual respect. Okay. Second one is the theological meaning. Hmm, Theological meaning. So this theological meaning relates to our need to feel that our life have significant and purpose. So it concerns the functionality and instrumentality of our behavior in pursuit of highly valued goals. So this provides a sense of a sense of direction and guidance in our life. So when we believe that our action will serve a purpose and contribute to something that is meaningful, we are more motivated, no? We are more driven to pursue our goals, no, with determination and resilience. Whether it is striving for personal growth, no, building meaningful relationship, or even making a positive impact, no, on the world. So having this sense of purpose, no, give our lives structure and meaning. So moreover, no, this theological meaning foster a sense of fulfillment. Kasi no, when we align our actions with our values and aspiration, okay, when we align our actions with our values and aspiration, no, we experience a profound sense of fulfillment and contentment, right? So this fulfillment arises from the realization that our effort are contributing to something greater, no, something bigger than ourselves. So whether it is a well-being of our loved ones, no, the betterment of our society, or even our pursuit of personal growth and development. So now let us move on and the overall sense of meaning. So while no partiality distinct between this epistemic and theological meaning will likely fall under a single higher order factor, no, reflecting our overall sense of meaning in life. So this sense of meaningfulness is a psychological experience that people monitor and strive to maintain. So it is essential for us to understand the distinction between these two, no, the epistemic and the theological. Kasi when we say epistemic, no, it pertains to our understanding of the world, no, the acquisition of knowledge, and our pursuit of truth. No. On the other hand, the theological, it means to theological meaning, it relates to our sense of purpose, our goals, no, our belief that life has an inherent direction or meaning beyond mere existence. So now, no, so now, while these two, epistemic and theological, may seem distinct, on the surface, they are deeply interconnected with the human experience. Now, let us consider this. Now, our pursuit of knowledge is often stems from a desire to understand our purpose or direction in life. No, likewise, no, likewise, our sense of purpose is often informed by the knowledge that we acquire about the world and ourselves. So, in the essence of epistemic and theological meaning, no, this is a epistemic and theological meaning are these two are considered intertwined threads, no, in the tapestry of our existence. So, furthermore, no, research in psychology support the idea of these two dimensions of meaning, no, will likely fall under a single higher order factor now. So studies have shown that individuals who report strong sense of purpose in life also tend to exhibit a greater desire for knowledge and understanding. So conversely, no, these two lack of sense, this those who are lacking of this sense of purpose, no, may struggle to find meaning even in the pursuit of knowledge. Moreover, now our sense of meaningfulness in life is a fundamental aspect of human psychology. No, it is not merely an abstract concept, no, but a psychological experience that influences our thoughts, our emotions, and of course, now our behaviors. So, people actively monitor this sense of meaningfulness and strive to maintain or enhance it, throughout their lives. So understanding the interconnectedness of epistemic and theological meaning, can have a profound implication for our personal growth and well-being. So by recognizing that our pursuit of knowledge and our sense of purpose are intertwined. So we can approach life with greater clarity and intentionality. So we can strive to align our actions with our values and goals, no, thereby cultivating a deeper sense of meaning and fulfillment. Okay, now let's talk about regulating meaning. So first, no, we have here meaning threats. So what is this meaning threats? No, it is a certain experience or such a violation of expectation. No, it is considered also something that is uncertain, you're certain or lack of purpose. No, it can serve as a threat of our sense of meaning. So these threats trigger self-regulatory responses no, that aim at restoring meaning known as meaning regulation. No? So our sense of meaning is fundamental to our well-being and our fulfillment in life. No, however, no, certain experiences can shake this foundation, right? No, naamagipay nga detesta, no, leaving or feeling adrift or disheartened. So when our expectations are shattered, you know, and then no uncertainty clouds our path, or when we struggle to find purpose, no, it can be deeply unsettling. No? So, but there's the thing, no, these challenges don't have to be the end of the story, right? No, in fact, no, they can serve as a catalyst for growth and resilience. So this is where meaning regulation no, comes into play. No? When we face this threat to our sense of meaning, we don't just passively succumb to despair. No, instead, we engage in self-regulatory response, no, self-regulatory responses, no, aim at restoring that sense of meaning. Okay, no, think about it. When our expectations are violated, we reassess, no, we reassess and adapt something, adapt, no, in finding new ways to make sense of our experiences. Right? Mm. Now, let's have here the number two, the proximal defense. Okay. So what is this proximal defense? So it is our initial responses to meaning threats na involve proximal defenses, which aims to suppress, no, suppress or distance ourselves from the source of threats. So this can have negative consequences, such as an increased stereotyping, no avoidance behavior, and cognitive biases. No, so when we when we face no with threats no to our okay when faced with threats no our uh sense of meaning or belief no our first instinct is often to protect ourselves no through through what psychologists call proximal defense no so this defense no aim to suppress niya or distance ourselves from the source of the threat offering a temporary shield from discomfort. So, however, no, it is crucial to recognize that while proximal defenses may provide a sense of immediate relief, they can also come with significant downsides. So, one of the most concerning consequences of proximal defense is the potential for increased stereotyping. No, when we feel threatened kasi, no, we may resort to simplistic or categorization of others as a way to regain a sense of control or superiority. So this can lead to an unfair judgment and perpetuate harmful stereotypes. No, ultimately, no, undermining our ability to engage with others in a meaningful and empathic way. So It often, no, these proximal defenses no, often manifest in avoidance behavior. Okay? Rather than confronting the source of the threat directly, we may choose to avoid situations or individuals that challenge our belief or values. Okay, while this may offer temporary relief, no, it ultimately limits our growth and understanding, no, reinforcing narrow-mindedness and stagnation. So, no, hadlok siya in a way, no, kung dili na lang nato siya i-face, kay murag na tay denial stage, no? Kung dili nato kaya, di na, kung feel na dahil nato nga di nato kaya talikdan na dahil. So, kinahanglan ato ang proximal defense. So, no, proximal defenses also no give rise to our cognitive biases, no, distorting our perception on our decision making processes. No? When we're motivated not to protect our sense of meaning, we tend to selectively interpret information in a way that aligns with our existing belief. No? So ignoring contradictory evidences or alternative perspectives. This confirmation bias no, can hinder our ability to critically evaluate new information and adapt into changing circumstances. Third one is the distal defense. Okay, so after some delay, people may engage in distal defenses, so which no involve approach-oriented behavior no, that aim at restoring a general sense of meaning. So this can involve no reaffirming alternative values, no groups or source of meaning no unrelated to the threat. Okay, so this distal This defense, no, as described, no, it offer a compiling strategy for an individuals to navigate through the challenging circumstances. No, when we face no with adversity, it's natural to experience a range of emotions, right? No, including fear and the feeling of uncertainty. No, however, that sets Okay. However, no, that sets no resilient individuals apart. No, this is their ability to engage in digital defenses. No, which empowers them to take a proactive steps towards restoring a sense of meaning and purpose in their lives. So, after a period of initial shock, no, or distress, people often find themselves no, seeking ways to regain a sense of control and this direction. So these digital defenses now provide a roadmap for this journey. So digital defenses now provide a roadmap for this journey, encouraging individuals to adapt approach-oriented behaviors that focuses on reaffirming our alternative values, groups or source of meaning that are unrelated to the immediate threats. So by embracing these digital defenses, individual can tap into their inherent resilience and resourcefulness. No? Instead of allowing themselves not to be overwhelmed by the challenges that they face, no, they actively seek out avenues for growth, and resilience. No? Resilience as well as fulfillment. No? So whether it is reconnecting with their cherished values, no, strengthening their bonds with supportive communities, or even exploring new avenues of personal development. So this distant defense law offer a pathway toward empowerment and renewal. So moreover, engaging in these defenses not only benefits an individual, but also on a personal level, no? Which contributes to the resilience of the community and society as a whole. So by fostering a culture of adaptive coping strategies, we can create environment where people are better equipped not the storm, or what we call the storm of life, and also emerge stronger on the other side. Okay. Now let's move on to meaningful work. Okay, so we have two categories under meaningful work. We have job design and work role fit. So, job designer research on job design now has identified key characteristics that foster meaningfulness, such as task variety, task variety, task identity, no, which is completing a whole pieces of work, no, task significance, which means no impacting others' life, autonomy, and job feedback. So this characteristic now contributed for systemic and theological meaning. So and also, job design has uh, unequivocally pinpointed certain pivotal characteristics that not only enhance productivity but also cultivate profound sense of fulfillment and purpose in employees. No, among these, no, task variety, task identity, task significance, no, autonomy and feedback, no, emerges as the essential elements that foster meaningfulness in the workplace. No, so this significance of task variety, no, the monotony of repetitive tasks can drain an individual's enthusiasm and creativity, right? No, kada pabalik-balik lang na ito nga ginabuhat. So, introducing diversity in a task, no, not only keeps employees engaged, but also stimulates their cognitive faculties, right? Foster a sense of intellectual challenge and growth. Also, task identity plays a pivotal role, it's an essential role in beginning the work with meaning. So completing a whole piece of work from start to finish and still a sense of ownership and accomplishment. So it allows individual to witness the tangible outcomes of their effort, thereby reinforcing their connection to the work they do. So the notion of um, task significance adds another layer of meaning to the work environment. No, so knowing that one effort can have a tangible impact on others' lives, it builds the work with deeper sense of purpose and fulfillment. So whether it is improving customer experiences or even contributing to societal well-being, so understanding the significance of one's role foster a sense of pride and motivation. So, now autonomy. So we have autonomy. Autonomy emerges as a key driver of meaningfulness in the workplace. So granting employees the freedom to make decisions and exercise discretion empowers them to take ownership on their work, right? So it is not only enhances their job satisfaction but also nurture a sense of responsibility and accountability. So additionally, regular and constructive job feedback is indispensable, in cultivating meaningful work experience. So feedback provides employees, with valuable insight to their performance, allowing them to refine their skills and grow professionally. It serves as a source of validation and guidance, reinforcing their sense of competence and contribution. Right? No, so now, uh, work role fit. No, so it is perceiving a fit between one's self concept and working role contributes to a more meaningful work experiences. Now, when work aligns with one's values, belief, and identity, it provides an opportunity for self-expression, right? And a sense of authenticity, which foster both epistemic and theological meaning. So finding a strong fit between oneself and the role one occupies in the workplace is essential for truly fulfilling career experience. So this concept is known as the work role fit, no, it goes beyond mere job satisfaction. So it delves into the very core of our identity and values, no, shaping our entire work experience. Now, when our work aligns seamlessly with our self-concept, no, it opens the door to a deeper level of engagement and meaning. So imagine, no, waking up each morning knowing that the task, no, ahead is not only utilize our skills and talent, but also resonate deeply with our beliefs and values, no? That's the power of the work role fit. No, so dili ka mo matakay, ay, kapoy kita pa, mo matatakay, motivated to work, kay align man ang ato ang work, no, not just in our skills and talent, but also in our beliefs and values. No, when our professional responsibilities no reflects who we truly are, it eliminates the need to put on a facade of compartmentalized different aspect of ourselves, no, where we can show up no as a genuine self, we can show ourselves as a genuine one, no, bringing our whole being into our work. No. This authenticity not only foster healthier relationship with our colleagues, but also it enhances our overall job satisfaction. No? So, moreover, no work role fit provides a fertile ground for self-expression. No, it's not merely about executing tasks, but about infusing them with our unique perspective and creativity. So when our work allows us to express ourselves authentically, no, it ignites a sense of purpose and fulfillment, no, that transcends no, to the mundane aspect of our job. Okay. Okay, now let's talk about threats to meaning at work. So by the way, I add a few examples, no, that uh, uh, related, no, in my field of work as an college instructor. No, so these are the following most common issues, no, in our work field. So we have here, poorly designed job, no. So this uh, characterized by a role of ambiguity, no? Role conflict, and lack of clear purpose. No? It can serve as a threat to theological meaning. So, poorly designed jobs can also lead to boredom, which is associated with reduced sense of meaning and addition. So, we have here no workload and limited resources. No, so workload, no, kaning at farm, teachers' workload, no, is a main factor that causes stress. No, in reality, mao jud ni siya, no, followed by a lack of support, no, in the academic setting, no, an investigation into workload and stress among the academic staff revealed a decrease in the quality of academic work. No? So this suggests that the burden of workload can have negative impact on an individual's performance, productivity, and overall well-being. So it is important not to address this issue no, by providing adequate support to individuals, but by promoting a healthy work-life balance to prevent work. So this is by Pace et al. 2021, no, in their study the relation between the workload and personal well-being among university professor. And we also have here limited resources, no. Teaching with limited resources can be both challenging and beneficial. Teachers will define this term differently, but it would mean having to do classes without the use of TV overhead projectors, textbooks, and even printouts, which limits what you can do with your students. Also, a disadvantage of teaching with limited resources is that teacher can be tempted to surrender to plain talk. Too much teacher taking time prevents interaction interaction that causes boredom and no longer and the longer you spend talking to your student, the less time they have to process the information and understand it. This is by the study of Marshland, 1918 1998, and the lessons from nothings. Unfortunately, no, poorly designed job can pose a very significant threat to our well-being and our sense of meaning. So, take for example the plight of teachers of us teachers no who are burdened with heavy workloads and limited resources no so firstly no let us no, address the issue of work the issue of role ambiguity and conflict when teachers are unclear about their roles no, or face conflict expectation no, it creates unnecessary stress and frustration diba? No so they they may find themselves pulled in multiple direction, no? Unsure of where to focus their effort. No? This is not only diminish their effort, but also erodes our sense of purpose. After all, how can we derive meaning from our work when we are constantly grappling with confusion and uncertainty? So, moreover, no, a lack of clear purpose no in poorly designed job no sars- exacerbates the problem no teachers no first teachers no like many other professionals yearn for a sense of purpose in our work so we want to feel like we're making a meaningful contribution to the society no, by educating the next generation however when we are bogged down by this administrative tasks, overcrowded classrooms, insufficient resources, no, it's easy for that sense of purpose to dwindle. No, instead of feeling like we are making difference, no, we feel like we're merely going through lang. No, merely going through the motion lang, which we can, which no, which leads us uh, to be demoralizing. No, kanang hinahinay taga-demoralize. Na perhaps most concerning, most concerning issue is our boredom. No, when teachers are stuck in a monotonous routines, teaching, the same lesson each year, the same lesson each sem, year after it without an opportunity for growth and creativity, boredom sets in. And with boredom, comes a diminished sense of meaning and attention. So when our minds aren't engaged, when we are not challenged or stimulated, it is natural for our sense of purpose to wane. So what can be done to address these challenges? So it starts, with recognizing the importance of the job design in fostering a sense of meaning and fulfillment no. Employers must prioritize prioritize creating rules that are clear purposeful and conducive to the growth and engagement for us teacher this means providing adequate support and resources, reducing administrative burdens, di na ihagod mga administrative works at especially for those um, kanang mga teachers in defect, sometimes, ilahang teaching load natagaan pag sa administrative na mga work. Hmm? So, and fostering also a culture of innovation and collaboration. Okay? Now let us move to job insecurity. So it is also threats to meaning at work, so precarious employment practices and job insecurity have become increasingly prevalent, no? And which leads to high levels of uncertainty at work. So this uncertainty can be appraised as meaning threat, disrupting one's ability to derive a sense of coherence and purpose from work. So I have here two examples, which is job insecurities and salary and benefit. Job insecurity means that uh, for those teachers that are CUS or contract of service, no mo di amo ang kasagaran ng problema, no? It create job security as characterized by temporary work or casual or seasonal employment lang or long or short-term contract based on the employer's needs. So this definition considers both the actual condition of temporary work and perception of precariousness with no ongoing expectation of long-term tenure. So these aspects are relevant occupational health studies that analyze of rationalized and flexible work condition and employees' health, such as job strain and reduced level of control. Now, additionally, they are relevant to the studies that examine the perceived health risk associated by job insecurity. Now, this is by Cohen LA. No, in their study, the professors job security, health, and coping strategies among contractual university teachers. Okay. No? Also, the salary and benefits. Okay, the compensation levels will significantly influence the quality of work performed by educators. No? Performance serve a crucial determinant of teachers' duty and responsibilities. When adequately compensated, teachers are motivated to fulfill their obligation diligently, overcome challenges, and excel their roles. Much kay no sumurod mo-motivate na baluta nga gidabayra tao, tarong. But then again, no, however, the current salary structure for both private and honorary teacher does not align, no, with their performance level. Okay, salaries remain below the standard, compromising teachers' safety, health, and overall. This is by the study of Rosmanida et al. 2022, no, which is, titled "Effect of Salary Amount on Teachers' Performance." But this is the reality. No, so it is undeniable that this precarious employment malpractices and job insecurities have become all too common. No? So this prevalence of uncertainty, in the workplace isn't just a matter of inconvenience. No, it is a genuine threat to our sense of stability, no? Our sense of coherence and also purpose of our careers. No? Take for example the plight, no, of contract of service teachers. So I belong with this. No, I am also a contract service teacher. No, so these educators, no, we educators nga kaning mga CUS often find themselves in a perpetuate state of uncertainty with short-term contracts, no, that offers little stability of job or even job security. No, so such arrangement not only undermine the morale and motivation of these dedicated professionals, but also deprive them the sense of coherence and purpose that comes from knowing that they have a stable position, no, in which they can invest their skills and passion. So, moreover, no, the issue extends beyond just teacher to encompass the wide range of profession where employees face similar challenges, no? Whether it's precarious gig work, temporary contracts, or fluctuating benefits. No, the pervasive pervasive uncertainty in today's job market cast, no, it casts a shadow over our well-being and fulfillment of countless individual. No, it doesn't have to be this way, but we must recognize that job insecurity isn't just an inconvenience. No, it is a fundamental threat of our sense of dignity and purpose. So, unta, soon, no, employers, no, mga policymakers, and the society, no, as a whole must prioritize creating more stable and secure employment opportunities, no, investing, no, in fair wages, comprehensive benefit, and a long-term employment contracts. No, it isn't just morally right thing to do, but mm, it is also everyone's best interest. So when employers kasi no feel secure in their job, they are more likely to be productive. Tama, no? They are likely to be more um, they are likely more engaging and also they innovate more, no? So when individuals now can derive meaning and coherence from their work, everyone benefits from employees themselves or the organizational deserve. And of course, in the community as well, right? Another threat not meaning at work is the workplace injustices. Okay, this is very common to the experiences, the experience of unfairness, breaches in psychological contracts, and perception of justice can violate expectation and challenge one's sense of epistemic meaning, prompting self-regulatory response. Tono ko diri is work-life balance. So this is very common sa not only in the higher education instructors but also at those secondary and elementary school teachers. No? So research has identified that teachers presented the most unstable work-life balance compared with other positions in higher education institutions. Now, this is by Beck et al. Kang and Park 2019 studies that analyze teachers' work-life balance have limitations in terms of explaining the specific aspect that contributes its stability and instability. This is by um, Eberman, Nelson, Lewis, and Anderson 2017. No, so workplace injustice can be a significant source of distress affecting employees on both personal and professional levels. No, the experience of unfairness, no, breaches in psychological contracts, and perception of injustice can shake the very foundation of an individual's sense of purpose and meaning of their work. No? So, uh, let's delve into this issue with a payog example. No? That many educators can relate. No? So the struggle for life-work balance faced by teachers. No? So imagine that a dedicated teacher who pours their heart and soul into educating this young mind, no, staying late to grade the papers, no, prepare lesson plans, and provide extra support to struggling students. Usahay, dili pa yun i-treat og tarong sa tong students, no, makadawat ta og some disrespect from our students, no, even nga students karon given nga students karon lahi ra gyud una, no, grabe kay sila makapuna for ang mga students is hope, no. So despite of our unwavering commitment define them, so we find ourselves constantly overwhelmed with the demands of our profession, often sacrificing our personal time and well-being in the process. So this imbalance between work and personal life not only takes a toll on our physical and mental health, but also infringes upon the implicit psychological contract they enter into their employer. Excuse me, no. Teachers, no, we teachers like all employees expect a fair exchange of their effort, as a reasonable workload, in exchange for a fulfilling career and a chance to lead a fulfilling life outside of the work. So, however, when this balance disrupted, whether by excessive workload, unrealistic expectation, or even a lack of support from the administration, it will create a sense of injustice. No, the teacher begins to question the fairness of their situation, feeling undervalued, no, feeling unappreciated of their hard work and dedication. Now let's move on to flow with compensation. No, so we have three. We have the family, the community, and the personal values. So family, no works threaten, meaning family when work threatens, no meaning individuals can by meaning reaffirm meaning, by focusing on their families, relationship, and values, no? So even if unrelated to the threat. So work can be often becomes overwhelming, so leaving as a feeling disconnected and unfulfilled. However, when work strengthens our sense of purpose. There are avenues that we can explore to reaffirm and sustain the meaning in our lives. No, first, no, is our family. No, let's consider the role of family. No, so amidst no the chaos of work, our family's relationships serve as beacon of stability and love, right? No, spending quality time with loved ones not only provides solace but also remind us what truly matters in life. So whether it is sharing a meal, not talking, simply taking a walk together, no, or even engaging a heartfelt conversation. No, these moments though can help us realign our priorities and find fulfillment beyond our workdays. No, so we have community, no, and our community, will play a very significant role in shaping our sense of belonging and purpose. No? Engaging with our community or social groups allows us to connect with uh, like-minded individuals, no, share our experiences and contribute to something greater than ourselves. So whether it is volunteering for a local cause, no, participating in community events, or even joining clubs and organizations. So these activities, no, will help us foster a sense of camaraderie and fulfillment that can compensate for any shortcomings nato sa ating work or sa ating trabaho. So we have also personal values, no? So reaffirming, no, our personal values such as through acts of kindness or volunteering. So can help us maintain a sense of meaningfulness when work is um, unfulfilling na. So, no, let us not underestimate the power of personal values. No, when your work fails to satisfy our intrinsic needs, no, reaffirming our personal values becomes a paramount. No, acts of kindness, volunteering, and simply living in alignment with our core belief, no, can reignite our sense of purpose and meaning. So whether it is lending a helping hand to a stranger and even standing up for what we believe in, no, or pursuing our hobbies and passion, no, outside work. So this action, no, reaffirms our values and remind us of the impact we can have on the world around us. So when work, no, is strengthened by our sense of meaning, no, liquid compensation, our family, community, and personal values, no, offers a pathway to rekindle our spirits, no, by nurturing our relationships, no, engaging with our communities, and staying true to our values, no, we can maintain a sense of purpose and fulfillment, no, even in the face of professional challenges. No, so let us embrace, no, these avenues of fluid compensation and cultivate more meaningful and balanced life. Okay, so we have here enhancing meaning and words. We have namang intervention, no, to enhance meaning at work. So we have here positive work reflection, pro-social job design, unity value intervention, and the gamification. So this positive work reflection offers a simple yet very powerful strategy, no? By taking a moment to reflect on the meaningful events at work, not only allows us, no, mga workers, to acknowledge our achievement, but also replenish our social psychological resources, no? So by fostering a culture of positivity and self-awareness, no, this uh, particular practice can significantly reduce burnout and enhance overall well-being. So, we have also a pro-social job design. So this pro-social job design, no, takes things a step further by aligning job roles, no, with a greater sense of purpose. Okay, so um, when employees now see the direct impact of their work on beneficiaries or society at large, no, it instills profound sense of social worth. No? This is not only boost morale but also foster a deeper commitment to organization's mission. right? So we have also unity value intervention. No, ang description is writing about how work is relevant to one's life that increase interest and performance. So this unity value intervention, no, it emphasizes the relevance of work to one's life, no, by encouraging employees, no, to reflect on how their tasks contribute to their personal goals and aspiration. No. So it enhances their sense of meaning and motivation. So this intervention not only increases the engagement, but also it improves the performance as individuals. So uh, we see the value of our contribution. No? So lastly, we have gamification. No, it is adding game-like elements to work, so we can increase task absorption and intrinsic motivation. So we have here, no, gamification element injects an element of fun and excitement to our environment, no? By incorporating game-like elements such as challenges, rewards, kanima ladder boards, no? It taps into employees' intrinsic motivation, and also it enhances task absorption. This not only makes work more enjoyable, but also boost productivity and creativity. No? So, in conclusion, no, implementing this intervention now can transform the workplace into a thriving ecosystem where employees feel valued, motivated, and as well as fulfilled. So by investigating, no, in their psychological well-being, the sense of purpose, organizations can unlock the full potential of their workforce and achieve a remarkable success. So no, experiencing meaningfulness, no, at work is a crucial for our well-being and performance, no. However, no, work can also present various threats to our sense of meaning, so prompting self-regulatory response to that can disrupt, no, optimal functioning. So by understanding the process of meaning regulation and reapplying interventions that enhance meaning or reduce meaning threats, no, individuals and organizations can create more fulfilling and productive work environments. No? Integrating insight from the social cognition and organizational psychology can pave the way for future research and practical application in these important domains. No? So this is the end, no, in the first part. Now my co-presenter will furtherly explain, no, threats to meaning at work, no, highlighting the biggest challenges of teachers at work. Okay, thank you everyone. Thank you, Ma'am Nika.